All right, let's dive into one of the most famous stories you've probably ever heard, Jesus' first miracle, turning water into wine at the wedding at Cana. But we're not going to treat this like some dusty old history lesson. Nope. We're going to look at it as a secret map for your own inner world, a guide to transformation that is just as real and powerful today as it was 2,000 years ago.
So, let's just get right to it with a question. Have you ever felt like that? Like you're just running on empty? The joy, the passion, the spirit inside you is just run dry, even when it feels like everyone else around you is celebrating. It's a deeply human feeling, right?
Well, what if I told you the blueprint for refilling that inner well was hidden in plain sight inside this ancient story? This isn't just about making wine. It's a timeless recipe for turning a state of lack into a state of abundance, right inside you. So let's start by cracking the code.
To unlock this map, first you got to learn the language. See, the real power here isn't in the literal story, but in what every single piece of it symbolizes about our own consciousness.
Right away, the story sets the stage with some really deep symbolism. It starts on the third day, which is always code for resurrection. It's a sign that an old self is ending so a new one can begin. The wedding, that's the inner union of your head and your heart. Mary, she represents your intuition. And Jesus symbolizes that divine spark within you, the inner Christ, the part that actually has the power to transform things.
So problem comes up, and who's the first to speak? Mary, our intuition. And notice what she says. They have no wine. It's not a complaint. It's not a panic. It's just a simple, honest statement of what is. And that's the first step in any real change, isn't it? Your intuition just has to see the emptiness for what it is, no drama needed.
And that's the whole job of our intuition. It doesn't try to solve the problem itself. It just sees the truth. Hey, the wine's gone. And it brings that awareness straight to the higher power within, the only part of us that can actually do something about it.
Now this response from Jesus, it's confused people for centuries. It sounds so harsh, like a dismissal, but it's actually a really profound teaching. My hour has not yet come. This isn't a no, it's a lesson in divine timing, you know? Real transformation, it can't be forced by our anxious little ego. It has its own schedule. So, if we can't force it, what are we supposed to do? Well, Mary gives us the answer. She points us toward the actual blueprint for the miracle. And the whole thing revolves around these 6 stone water pots. The story is so specific here. There are 6 jars. And in this kind of symbolic language, 6 is the number of man, of incompleteness. It's just 1 short of 7, which is the number of spiritual perfection. So these jars, they're us, our human condition. The structures are there, but they're incomplete. And they're made of stone, which points to the rigid outer systems of belief and ritual that can hold stuff, but they can't change it.
Now, these are the last words Mary ever speaks in the scriptures, and wow, are they powerful. She turns to the servants, who symbolize our inner faculties, the parts of us that actually do the work, and she gives this one simple command. And notice, she doesn't tell them what he's going to say. The instruction is to commit to obedience before you even know the plan.
And that obedience plays out in this very precise 3-step process. First, our inner selves have to just hear the instruction, no questions asked. Second, they have to fill the vessels all the way up. And third, they have to draw out right away, acting purely on faith. This is the inner sequence for any real change.
Okay, and this part about filling the jars to the brim is absolutely crucial. The original Greek means to the very top, no space left. This symbolizes full 100% undivided attention. A scattered mind, a little bit of presence here and there, that only gets you partial results. The miracle requires you to go all in, to the brim.
So the first command is given. Fill the jars with what you already have, plain, ordinary water. Our job isn't to create the miracle. Our job is to show up with the raw material, which is our full, undivided presence. And then boom, right after they're filled, the second command comes. Draw out now. There's no waiting around, no magic words, no right show. The instruction is to act now, to draw from the exact same jars they just filled with plain old water. Which brings us to the absolute heart of the mystery, right? If they filled the jars with water and then immediately drew from them, when in the world did it actually turn into wine?
And here's the beautiful, profound answer. The turning happens in that unseen space, between the moment of obedience and the moment of the result. It's a secret. The demanding, analytical part of you doesn't get to watch the miracle happen. You do your part, you fill the vessels with your presence, and the transformation happens in a mystery
totally hidden from view. Okay, now let's look at who experiences this miracle and how, because this reveals the story's absolute core teaching. We see two completely different ways of perceiving reality, just tasting the result versus actually knowing the source.
This is the great divide inside all of us. On one side, you've got the ruler of the feast. He's our thinking, analytical mind. He tastes the new wine, he judges it, wow, this is great. But the text is clear, he knew not where it came from. He gets the result but has no clue about the source. And on the other side, you have the servants. They know. Why do they know? Because they were there. They did the work. They have first-hand experiential knowledge.
The ruler then says this, and he thinks he's just giving a compliment to the groom, but what he's actually doing is stating a universal law of the inner world. See, in the outer world, things run down. You serve the good stuff first. But in the inner kingdom, the very best is saved. It's been kept until now, this present moment of your awakening.
So, this is all fascinating, but how can we actually apply this incredible map to our own lives right now? Well, that brings us to our final section, a simple practice based on the blueprint we've just uncovered.
Here it is, a simple 3-step practice you can try anytime. First, declare. Just sit quietly for a moment and let that phrase, "the good wine has been kept for now," really land inside you. Second, fill. Bring your full attention into your own body, your inner vessels, and just fill that space to the brim with your presence. And third, draw out. Think of one area of your life that feels dry or empty, and from this new place of fullness, take one small, simple action.
And just remember the most important part of this. This is all an exercise in trust. You don't get to stand over the jars and watch the water change color. Your job is to fill and then to draw out. And it's in the drawing out that you discover the turning has already happened, in secret.
So, the final question is really for you. This ancient map says that the best wasn't lost somewhere in your past. It has been kept, saved, for this very moment. Your inner vessels are ready. The only question left is, what will you draw out?